from my spirit guides on navigating the uncertain world that you are now living in. Tonight, the guides will be talking about growing, not just going through your life. The takeaway from this week's episode is you will have a plan for documenting your life to avoid looking back at something you do not remember. Here's what this will do for you. What you learned about yourself in 2020 will determine your fate in 2021. And we just started 2021. So I hope you guys took the time to document what the highlights were in your life in 2020 and how it made you feel and what you realized from it and the action you intend to take going forward in 2021. Here's what I want you to do with it. This will become your roadmap to moving forward. The writing it down in your journal, the companion journal to guide it. 2020 will be the year you talk about with your children and grandchildren. Once you start to write what happened in your day, in your life every day, and how it makes you feel, you will realize what's happening to you and for you in the world. These are different things. This is how you will be able to see the difference between these two perceptions. There's a big difference in what happens to you because it normally happens to everyone as a group. But how it affects you individually, herein lies what happened for you. There's a difference. And I'm going to read just an excerpt out of how it works. When you interpret something in the outer world as happening to you, it makes you feel powerless. It feels like it feels like it's being forced on you. Anyone who allows this to happen is just going through their life, not growing through their life. Okay. And once again, I only read a few excerpts out of Linda's weekly guided insights, so you're not really getting the whole insight. But Ray and I, we talk about this with you on Tuesday nights. Be sure to get Linda's weekly guided insights. Go to my website, lindadeir.com, and you'll see it, and it's free, and you can join in, and you will receive these every Tuesday. Okay. So Ray.
We didn't get any comments.
Not on this one.
People
no.
must still be partying, or
they're not partying. Not our people are getting it. Okay, our people, they like to have fun, but now it's getting a little bit more real. Everybody knows
more
that.
Tense.
Go ahead, Ray.
Well, I thought the first thing that they mentioned today about the takeaway was interesting. The takeaway from this week's insight will be that you'll have a plan for documenting your life to avoid looking back at something that you can't remember.
That's the most annoying. You know what that's like? That's like having a dream, and it was a great dream, or it was something you knew was important, and you didn't take the time to just lay in that slumber, in that twilight, to recall the dream and the details of the dream, the most critical part. And you woke up and you got, jumped in the shower and went on, started getting your day together and started moving forward with your day. And you forgot the dream that was so important to your life. That's what it feels like to forget what that was, where you caught it, but then you forgot it.
Okay. Elizabeth is with us. Elizabeth Pescuzzi.
Happy to have you, Elizabeth.
She's here with us every week.
She's a trooper.
I know. And
she's going to get it.
Aurora is new. She's from Calgary, Alberta.
Great.
And she says she is understanding this whole concept that things are happening for her rather than to her, and it's life changing.
And you know what? What's her first name again, Ray?
Aurora.
Aurora, beautiful name.
It isn't.
When you realize it's happening for you, you are nobody's victim. That ceases. That's over. You're no victim anymore. You signed off of that list if you were ever on it.
Yeah, most people think everything happens to them.
Right. It's like it's out of your hands. You don't have control over your life.
Right. And they talk about it and they brag about it and they blame it. And nobody ever says, hey, guess what happened for me yesterday?
They'd look at you and go, what? But that's the truth. That's what's really going on when we're present, when we're responsible for our own life, when we're not looking for somebody to come save us. Nobody can save you.
Yeah. People always think somebody's going to come along and save them, and that's how they get into compromised relationships. Don't you think?
Well, it's way past. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
That's inviting somebody into your dysfunctional world, and the fact that somebody would go out and seek that out, you're going to draw to you the same energy that you are. So the healthier you get, the more present you become, the more capable you are, the more of you who is living this life, not somebody who gets small and is afraid to let anybody too close, or you're just trying to say things and do things to fit in. Okay. People can see through that. They call it weak because it is. And they may be weak too, but they can sure spot a weak person because they're just like that. All right. So if you're pay attention to what you're drawing into your life and what's coming your way, even if you're not looking for it, it just comes and it shows up and it's right there. Be aware of what that is, because there's a reason for everything. People who show up in your life, some of them might be amazing. Some of them might not be so amazing. There's parts of us that are amazing that have this figured out. There's other parts of us that are still a work in progress. So honor the work in progress part of you. You've got to do that, because until you look at it for what it is and quit trying to make it up and pretend it's something else or put it off, and you want everyone to like you and stuff, give that up. I'll tell you what, when I wrote my book Guided, it's a riveting story. I tell it like it is. And I've had mostly, I'm going to say 95% of the reviews are 4 and 5 star reviews. But there's that edge, that gritty part, that part where I have some people that came at me, and literally haters that came at me and attacked the book, attacked me. Did I let that stop me from the 95% of the people who need the information, who love the information, who it helps them realize who they are and makes them stronger? Okay. Is it worth that 5% that attacked me with so much hate? I mean, some of these people it's amazing how much hate they have.
They're vicious.
And that would be my whole family, you guys. All right. It's been attacked by the people, those type of people. Did I let that stop me? No. Did it feel good when they attacked the book? Did it feel good? No, it didn't feel good. But you know what? I had to be true to myself in spite of the consequences. There's always consequences for growing through your life. Instead of just going along with the crowd and playing it safe and, and trying to be liked by everybody and not upset the apple cart. You guys, we are now at a point in time on the timeline in history where that game is over. If you're not who you are, you're going to get trampled on.
Yeah, if you're not strong. I mean, when somebody attacks you like that after you come out with a book that won an international book award, after people told you, oh, you're not an author, you can't write, you're never going to sell any books, that kind of stuff.
They tried to keep me small.
Right.
That's going through life. They try to keep you small. That's not your life. That's a compromised life. That leads to a life of regret. That's not a life. You didn't come here to live that type of life. You came in to achieve what you came here to do. And I got to say this, you guys, right now in this world, it's chaos. But you know what? It's showtime. It's showtime for those who are ready to grow through their life with and with like-minded other people. The other people that are not growing through their life and they're just going through their life and they're haphazard and critical of everybody else, invite them out of your life.
Yeah.
They're of no consequence to you now. No use in trying to satisfy those few because they will pull you down. No matter how strong you are, no matter how much you are growing through your life, they will wear you down. That's the first thing that has to go. 2021 will not allow you to ride that fence anymore, trying to play it safe. Be on this side, be on that side, have both sides. No, you can't do that anymore. That's over.
Yeah, you can't, like you said, you can't let some people who attack you, the few who attack you, try to defeat you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, your response was you wrote 4 more books.
I guess I don't get it.
I guess you didn't get it.
That's the good response, you guys.
Yeah, it is, right? 4 more books.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to that point where we talked about earlier about people looking for somebody to take care of them. You know, there's a lot of people, that's their plan.
It totally is.
I mean, we know people, okay?
Oh.
We know people who in their 20s and, mid 20s, early
60s.
Yeah, and wait a minute. We knew them when they were in their 20s and 30s, and their plan was to find somebody who will take care of them the rest of their life. I mean, they don't want to put any effort into taking care of their symptoms.
Into growing through their life.
Right. They just want to go through their life and have a party and go shopping and go on trips and
have fun.
Have fun. That's it. I just want to have fun. And now they're in their 60s and they're still looking for that.
I know. They keep looking for the same thing. You guys, I got to say, in their defense, it all started early in our lives. All right. It's something that needs to be healed that happened back there that we just don't remember. Okay. It has to do with that one, it has to do with, let me get that out. It has to do with the takeaway. You will have a plan. The takeaway from this episode is you will have a plan for documenting your life to avoid looking back at something you do not remember, or you don't remember the truth about what happened.
Right.
You made it up because you didn't want to remember. But you can't fix something. You can't heal something that you refuse to remember. This is it. You can't grow through your life. You will only go through your life if you can insist on repressing it. This book will help you. I'm going to get the other book out. My Guided Journey. It's part 2. Will take you back to the part where it happened back there and you start to remember what it is. You bring it to the surface so that in part 3, as you document your journey going forward, it no longer controls your decision making. It no longer controls you. You're free from it. You're released from it like a shackle on your leg. It's been let off. It's been the key, let it open, and you're free now. But you're the only one who can free you. You're the only one who can decide that. Find it and fix it.
I highlighted that same thing you just read, the takeaway. You'll have a plan for documenting your life to avoid looking back at something that you don't remember. So I started
don't want to.
Yeah, I started thinking about the reasons why people can't remember. It's like some people can't remember their dreams. But what bugs me is people talking about the past and the good old days. That's the good old days syndrome. They come up with these fantastic stories about what happened in the good old days, how the good old days were. They weren't like that at all. The good old days weren't that good.
Once you start doing the writing, and I'm not saying the good old days weren't good. Some of them were good. Some of them weren't good. So which ones weren't good that caused trauma in your early life? That it's like walking around dragging a leg and you're kind of, going like this. You can't really function fully. You can't be who you are because something's got a hold of you from the past and it keeps crippling you up. That needs healing. That's all. Once you go in there and you find it in part two of my guided journey, once you find out what that is, this book takes you through 4 qualifying questions. In part 2, it takes you through 5 to flush out what is in there, buried, safely protected by you. You know who's protecting it in you? Your ego. Your ego's protecting it. It came to your rescue when it first happened. Okay, when you were little, it came to your rescue early on. And now it came to your rescue, and now it keeps rescuing you. But is it rescuing you? Is it helping you? Is it letting you grow? Or is it just getting you in another day of misery, of uncertainty, of questioning yourself, of unhappiness, all of this? The ego, it doesn't mean it. It wants to protect you. But you need to let the ego know, hey, ego, in this world, I'm going to be okay. Look out for me, but let me go back and see what it is. Let me find out what's holding me up that won't let me grow through my life. It's got a hold of me. What is that? And then when I figure it out, then together we can come and we can find a new way to live. We can learn to be present and not so reactive and scared, okay? And move forward because now you're connected. You're not disconnected.
Yeah, a lot of people only remember snippets, especially of their youth. They remember snippets.
It's unbelievable.
Okay, like maybe you remember picnics with the family, family reunion picnics and things like that. You remember.
You remember the things that you remember that you want to remember have become sentimental to you. They become things that are traditions that you carry forward in your life. And then you call it, what people tend to do is they tend to make it into everything like nothing else happened back there. There's, they don't want to admit to the things that weren't so good. They just want to amplify the things that were really good and make that all there is, to pretend everything's nice, to nice it all up. But you guys, the reason that's not good, I'm telling you that it's okay to have tradition. It's okay to have your family. It's okay to have the things that feel good to you. But there's things that need healing. Or, and you can prove this to yourself. Look at the world we're living in. Do you think it needs some healing? Do you think it does?
Yeah.
This world needs a lot of healing. And it's by pretending the stuff that's not so pretty isn't there and never happened. Is that going to make it okay and make it pretty again and make it function again? No, it's got to be healed. It's got to be faced. It's got to be flushed out. It's got to be identified. So you know how it made you feel, the truth. And then you will have a realization. It'll happen on its own. And from that realization, you will know how to merge and move forward. You'll know, and your life will work. It will be better than it's ever been. It is what's been missing. It's why you would put up with living another day of just going through your life instead of growing through your life, where it's rich with experiences. Going through your life, by the way, is just packed filled with lessons. Growing through your life is filled with experiences.
Yeah, that's why they can't remember them.
That's what you
They
want.
didn't learn anything significant from the experience. They had an experience
that they want to shut out.
Right. And now they don't remember they can't explain it, and they can't remember it.
Because we shove it down. It was trauma. It happens to everybody. It's not an embarrassment or or something you should be ashamed of that you want to hide from the world and from yourself. It's not something that everybody has something that needs to be worked on, something that we need to refer back to so we can look at it. We can write it down. You've got to write it down. And then you can look at it and go, it's finally out of here controlling me. And it's on the page. So I can ask myself these questions and get to the bottom of it. Once you do this in part 2, it's done. You don't have to go back and visit it. The only thing you have to do from that is in part 3, write in your journal for 15 minutes a day about what's unusual or out of the ordinary that's growing through your life. So you can see how you're doing. Some days you're going to write things that is amazing. You've got experience after experience after experience. And then, then you have a lesson. Ooh, there's a lesson. And that just means something from the past is breakthrough into where you are right now. So you can identify it. You can ask yourself how it feels, what you realize, and the action you're capable of taking. But as long as it lives in here, it controls you and you don't lay it down. You don't get it out and put it here. So you can look at it later and go, oh, I see. And you look at the next journal entry and go, uh-huh. And the next one and go, okay. Uh-huh. And pretty soon, guess what? You have your life put back together again. You know how to manage your life better than anybody could have helped you figure it out. No one has your answers. You have your answers.
Yeah, I remember a lot of family reunions or getting together at Christmas or at the lake and things like that, and the same relatives telling the same stories.
Year after year.
I know, the same stories.
It's the glue.
All these stories that they tell are the glue that keeps your life together to the point where you can't grow.
You don't want to grow. The people that did that, they don't want to grow. What it does is it tests the people, the family members around them too much. And they don't want to be bothered with the hassle. In fact, they hardly wanted to come. They've lived this out like Groundhog Day, just going through their life year after year after year. You know, you guys, this is not one of those lifetimes. It's not. This is, in fact, after 2020, it's showtime. It's time to really look at what's going on, see the whole picture, get real with yourself, get honest with yourself, tell yourself the truth. When you write in this journal, this is for your eyes only. You share this with no one else, because the minute you do that, you break the spell. And the spell is you break the spell of telling yourself the truth. This book is so you can start to tell yourself the truth. And as you start to tell yourself the truth, let me tell you, it's going to go from going through your life to growing through your life faster than any other way of doing it.
And when you tell your kids and your grandkids what happened, not to you, but for you in your early life,
what really happened,
you'll have a record of what happened. You won't have to remember it.
Yeah.
You won't have to. The only things that you remember are the things where you learned something significant from the experience and you had a realization.
It happens sometimes. But what's unfortunate, it's mostly a fluke. It happens once in a while when really, you guys, you have a life filled with the possibilities of recognizing it every day. Every day is the way. Every day.
That's a good slogan. Every day is the way.
Every day is the way. It doesn't happen, one time in 1969. No, it happens every single day, except we haven't been conscious. In fact, this book, part 3, is your roadmap. Part 3, your roadmap to consciousness. This, once you flush out what happened in your early life in part 2 of My Guided Journey, then what happens as you move forward keeps you on your path. Because all you ever did was you solved all the problems, chapter 1 through 18 and part 2 of My Guided Journey. And you just did that. And you didn't keep the maintenance up, the maintenance to keep you on your path. It would be probably, it would be an unfulfilled adventure. That's all I have to say. You have to stay tuned into yourself. You have to stay conscious and aware and connected. And going through your life is not going to cut it anymore. Growing through your life. That's why all these plants and this waterfall, and it's growing, you guys. This is your time to grow. This is where your answers are. This is where your fulfillment is, your purpose. This is why you're here. This is what you're meant to discover before you miss it. Yeah. It's not just an occasional thing. It's happening every day. And this will track it. This will track your steps so you stop missing it. I'll tell you what, people who write in the journal 15 minutes a day about what was unusual or out of the ordinary, it's fascinating. Your dreams, like Ray said, write down your dreams. You'll be able to start figuring them out. I'm going to have a training course that I'm going to develop. I'm developing now. That's going to be, I'm going to announce it in February. Right now, I do have the training available on my website. You go to lindadeir.com, and it's called training at the top in the nav bars. But that's a one-on-one with me. That's a real exclusive, private, powerful sessions you have with me 4 times a month. What I'm going to be doing on the training is going to be pre-recorded, and it's going to take you through the motions so you can begin to act on this. You can begin to react, activate what's going on using the journal. You're going to be able to use the journal like a pro. Okay.
Yeah, because if you're not getting...
That's growing through your life.
If you're not having realizations from your experiences, that's how you get back to the same old thing. Like at the end of every year, at the beginning of every new year, everybody, what does everybody say? Well, I'm glad 2020 is over, which is what they said at 2019. Oh, 2019, I'm glad it's over. 2020 is going to be a lot better.
Well, you know what's interesting about this year? 2021, nobody is thinking it's going to be better. They're not. After 2020, they're like, oh my God, what's going to happen in 2021? Well, here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen for you, not to you. And here's what's going to happen. Here's what I want you to do with it. Okay, here's what this will do for you. What you learned about yourself in 2020 will determine your fate in 2021. You guys have this. It's time to have this. It's your time. Okay, then the third one is, here's what I want you to do with it. This will become your roadmap to moving forward. This will become your roadmap to moving forward. I wrote these for you guys after writing Guided and the thousands of requests I had from people to learn what Guided teaches, about how I did this, about how I lived it, came these journals. It's the Guided Journal Writing System, the 3 books. Okay.
Yeah, just like the end of every year, people hope that the next year is going to get better.
They're not hoping right now. They know something has to change. Everybody knows it.
They know something's seriously wrong. And if you're just hoping that things are going to get better, normal is never going to be back again. Normal's dead.
It is.
It's not, you're never going to, it's gone forever.
Right.
So the people who say, oh, I'm just hoping this year's better, are the same people who just say, well, I'm just looking for somebody to take care of me.
That's the truth.
Yeah. And believe me, if you're hoping that things are going to get better and you don't have a plan A, a plan B, and maybe even a plan C, that's a bad strategy.
But I have to tell you that, and throughout Guided, I talk about, this is supposed to be fun. Your life is supposed to be fun. So growing through your life is awesome. going through your life is boring and grueling, and it leads to compromise and a life of regret. No, that's the life your grandparents and your parents lived. That's not you. You watched how that worked out for them. That is not what you want. Okay, this is your opportunity. It's really in our faces now. There's no avoiding it. Everyone can see this. You're either in fear or you're not. Okay, and if you're in fear, you can flush out the fear. You guys, it happened to you a long time ago. You're living a life that you want to live for you, not one that happened to you. No, that's you're not small. None of you are small. It's showtime. So you get your power back, you flush it out. It won't take you that long. And I'm going to help you with it. I'm going to keep you guys informed. Okay. Okay. So Ray, do we have anything to before I move on here, baby?
We have a good crowd tonight.
Okay, you guys are awesome. Be sure to tell your friends about what we do. We are here to help you guys. Okay, I'm going to read a few things, and then we're going to do the closing message from the guides tonight about tonight's session. That's always awesome. Okay, so let's see. Join us next Tuesday, January 12th of 2021, just at the brink of the new year, for episode number 265 of Linda's Weekly Guided Insights with me, Ray, and my spirit guides at 6 p.m. Pacific time on my Facebook page, my Facebook timeline, and my YouTube channel. Use the search term Linda Deir. In Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, my spirit guides will be talking about spiritually aware people, the silent majority. Here's what this will do for you. You will know if you are in this silent majority. A silent spiritual majority is an unspecified group of people who do not publicly express their beliefs or thoughts. Although they are spiritually aware, they keep to themselves and do not show a public image. Being spiritually aware doesn't involve you having to do or teach anything. It's all about being connected and present. There's a reason why the silent spiritual majority has been silent, but that is changing. This Thursday, January 7th, at 6 p.m. Pacific time, join us on our Facebook private group. It's called Ask the Universal Channel. The teachers of Ask the Universal Channel will be performing the following. Kathy's guides said, let's talk about your challenges in the upcoming year. That's good. Veronica's guides will talk about why throttling back is the most important thing to do at times. Throttling back, that would describe this journey where you go back and you heal the problem. And that's how my guided journey operates, how it works for you. And Joy's guides will discuss when you need to make new plans for the new year, given the new circumstances of uncertainty. Don't we all know about that? This event will be hosted by Linda Deir and Ray Hawley. And Saturday, January 9th, at 1 p.m. Pacific time, I will be reading from the 137 tips, learnings, lessons, and awarenesses sprinkled throughout Guided on my Facebook page, Facebook timeline, and YouTube channel. Again, use the search term Linda Deir. This reading will awaken you to the guidance that is always available. All right. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your like-minded friends and family about my work, because we're here every week, multiple times a week, to help from the bottom of our hearts, me, Ray, and our guides. Okay. So Ray, what's that little hand thing you do? So what's his name?
Senor Wences. Most of these people in the crowd are not old enough to remember Senor
Oh,
Wences.
isn't that sweet?
Something I remember, a good experience in my childhood when my dad would make me watch Ed Sullivan.
Was that a good experience?
Yeah, because I liked Senor Wences. I laughed.
Because Ray's a funny guy.
He was a funny puppet.
Okay, so we're going to close the guides. Are going to close the session tonight about growing, not just going through your life anymore. Don't let anybody put you in a box like that.
Be careful about how you describe your life to others. When you think about your past, what comes to mind? Do you revel in all the stuff you used to have and maybe even still have? Or do you remember the experiences and what you realized from them? We can tell you that most of the stuff in your life is not important.
Stuff.
Start looking to have more experiences you enjoy. Don't just read a book about skydiving. Go skydiving. You will remember that your entire life. The stuff you will forget about tomorrow. But the experiences you will be able to feel in 50 years.
See, when you depart from this world, you really go back to where you came from. You don't disappear and cease to exist. What you take with you is not the stuff that you went through life. You just going through life. What you do is you take what growing through life was all about, the experiences. Okay. You take those experiences and what those experiences made you into. You leave becoming more than you were when you first got here. That's the whole reason you came here, to become more of who you are when it's time to depart. Otherwise, what was the point? It was just another, grind of a lifetime. You guys.
Just another life as the pinball.
The pinball. Yeah, just falling down the chute.
Yeah, getting whacked back and forth across the table and then
letting everybody whack you around.
Everybody whack you around.
What their opinions are, what they think of you. You guys, give it up. It's time to be who you are and let yourself have that and learn, do this first. This will get you primed up for it. This will get you prepared for it. And this will keep you on track as you move into your new life. 2021 is your life. Okay.
Fasten your seatbelt and ride it.
It's fun, man. We're going all in, you guys. There's no pussyfooting around now. You're either in or you're not.
It's time you make a choice.
You're either going through your life, bleh, or you're growing through your life. You're living it. You're experiencing it. And that's what this is all about. This is why you came here. This is what you came here to learn. And to example and sample to other people as a role model. You don't preach it. You don't teach it. You just are it.
Right.
Okay.
people who like it will show up in your life.
Yeah. And they will love you. The
Right.
people who don't won't like you at all. I can tell you that right now. And it's good because I have so many people. Ray has so many people who love us, okay? Because we're all in. We're not playing games. We're not holding back, okay? That's it. No more holding back. Be who you are.
That's it.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
See you Saturday
And Thursday.
and Thursday.